LeBron James all the way in.
So now we're here to talk about the kind of different options players now can take compared to, before, which is the one and done, which I think, like you said, is probably done now. It's not going to happen the way it is now.
Maybe one more year. I think there might be one more year. It might take a little time to change the rule.
To finish out this payment plan for this year's crop of kids.
Yeah.
Doesn't it seem kind of scummy? Just thinking about it, like you're basically like handling a kid's life. Like they're not even like adults. They're just kind of.
I think it's like it's scummy that it needs to be so hidden,
Yeah.
Because they do deserve to be paid rather. Because like DeAndre Ayton, what is he getting out of Arizona? Really,
Yeah.
Like no offense to Sean Miller, like I don't watch a lot of Arizona basketball, but they're not the best team, and you have easily like one of the top 3 players in all of college basketball playing for your team. Like, he's just not being coached.
Right.
He's just there to hopefully win this school a championship so this guy can get more money on his paycheck next time he, re-signs or whatever. So it's scummy that a coach like Sean Miller is just taking his, this is the amount of money we have to put out into our program this year. I'm going to take $100,000 and we're going to bring in this guy, and hopefully I don't have to coach him. We're just going to win everything,
Yeah.
Yeah, that to me is scummy. But really, like, these guys do deserve to get paid, and that's why I think, the college basketball system in general needed this shakeup. Like, it needed to just be washed away.
Well, I just think it was funny to me thinking about it, like how we can, like scientists, like, prodigy pianists or songwriters or just actors in general, we can allow them to kind of do whatever they want and make the money. But meanwhile, in sports, it's like, nope, you gotta stay here, make us a little bit of money, and then you can go.
Like literally, most of these guys don't even make it through half the school year before they're gone. They finish the NCAA tournament if they make it there, and then they drop out of school to get ready for the NBA draft.
Exactly.
So what's the that is just a fact. Like, even if this hadn't come out, DeAndre Ayton was leaving as soon as Arizona stopped playing basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
What was the point in general? Whereas if he could have gone to literally anywhere, right, where there's a decent coach, he could have been learning and getting better to make $10 million, quicker, right?
Right.
And instead, it's the biggest one that I always come back to is Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
He went to LSU, literally did nothing, and it wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
It was just a terrible basketball team, badly coached, and they didn't do anything. And he wasted a year of his career, and then he hurt himself the next year, right? So it's 2 years of wasted Ben Simmons just because he had to go through with this thing of going to a school.
Yeah. I mean, the thing with Ben Simmons is that it was like a family friend that was like the coach, and it's no excuse to why.
He definitely still got paid, though.
Yeah, they probably paid, but, they probably finessed a way to where it's probably not going to be caught. Maybe. I mean, maybe not. We haven't seen yet. I mean, there's still 4,000 phone calls to go.
Because LSU is under the former players implicated. So, I mean, if Ben Simmons didn't get any money, I'm shocked.
Yeah, that's probably the most shocking one.
That'd be shocking to me. So I would almost guarantee we got paid. And it was just a wasted year of this. Like, he was ready to play in the NBA.
Yeah.
Look at where he's at now. It seems like he's been in the NBA for a couple of years, and this is technically his first season.
Right.
He would have been a very above average rookie 2 years ago when he was at LSU, and then he wasted 2 full years because of that school. So I don't know, but let's get into some other options, right? You mentioned, what is it, what's LeVar Ball's league, the JBB?
I think it was the JBA, wasn't it? The
JBA, you're right, yeah. The Junior Baller
Association, yeah.
Okay. That's my personal favorite, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think it's necessarily the best option. I do think it's my favorite because I think LeVar Ball is a genius.
Right.
And obviously he came out with it at the perfect time, right? Because now it's established, kind of in the sense that people know it's around the corner.
Yeah, exactly.
And now this college basketball thing is kind of blowing up, right? So now the JBA is kind of, if they don't come out in the next week or so and be like, hey, look at what happened with the NCAA, come play in the JBA, right?
Yeah.
It's a big mistake, but they're going to do it. It's LeVar Ball. He's probably already, writing up his manifesto as we speak. But yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the JBA? You talked about it in length in video.
Yeah, I said it was a great idea, and I still think it is a great idea. The reason why is because if he can do it before the G League becomes this, we'll take in the high school students, then I think you perfectly got a situation where you can have people that just, you pay them as much as, I don't know how much it was for the top player, but you pay him that much money, you get him
It was $100K, right?
like 100K. So basically what DeAndre Ayton got.
Yeah.
So you get DeAndre Ayton money. We're just going to call it that now. You're going to get that money. You train, you prepare for the NBA. I mean, there is a couple options that we'll talk about, but I think it's the one where I think has the most potential if LeVar Ball can get it off the ground before the G League becomes a thing. Because if you can get that before the G League, you can get established players that want to just, for a year, just play.
Yeah.
And then go to the NBA, then I think you will get an advantage over the NBA in that sense. And then potentially, maybe the NBA is just like, you know what, LeVar Ball, we'll just buy your JBA league for X amount of money, and then...
Or he just keeps it and has the NBA by the nuts, Because if he literally is running the high school prospect system...
Yeah, right.
He's running a lot of the NBA at that point.
Right.
He's got a very established grip on the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if it's going to work that way. If he does do that, I mean, I feel like we need to get a statue of LeVar Ball.
A statue of LeVar Ball.
He probably he would deserve it at that point because he would have finessed the entire NBA within 2 swift years.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be incredible.
And then get both LiAngelo and LaMelo on an NBA team.
They'd be coaching in the JBA and playing. They'd be coach athletes.
Coach athletes.
Next option, like the emergence of people going to Europe. I think that's a big thing that's going to happen too.
Europe or just anywhere that you can play basketball.
I think one person, we've talked about him a bit on the channel, that's kind of establishing like it's actually not bad to go play in Spain in the BBVA.
Mm-hmm.
Is Luka Doncic. You know? Like people see a player like him and they're like, wow, that league is actually pretty good, right? But besides Luka Doncic, the Liga BBVA basketball is pretty good. Like that's the second best league in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So a guy like DeAndre Ayton probably would have been better coached and playing against better athletes in quality. Like he's playing against adults if you go to the Liga BBVA. There's something to be said about that. It's just as far as learning is concerned.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of going to Europe and just South America or wherever you can play basketball. The only thing is that some people aren't built for that. Yeah. And that's going to be like the trouble with some kids. Some kids are just used to this American culture. Yeah. And, it's a lot different culture. Like, I mean, they don't abide by our rules. So if you get in trouble or if you, do something that you can normally do here but you can't do in a different country, like let's say China, for example, I mean, you could potentially be screwed.
I mean,
and scared because these kids are not going to have their family with them.
Yeah,
they're going to be by themselves, training with their team every day, and it's just going to be hard because there's that language barrier with some of the kids. I mean, there may be some people that speak English. Of course, you're going to have a translator with you, but I think it's going to be hard to kind of communicate with your teammates what you want to do or like stuff like that, especially if you play the point guard position.
Yeah, that'd be tough. And I think that's the biggest detriment to that option.
Yeah.
Because I think that in a lot of ways that is the easiest option, right? Because it's already a very established league. They would definitely pay players to go there.
Yeah.
They're obviously pretty well coached because it's a pretty good league. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a good option, but like you said, that is the biggest thing that holds that one back. Which I think leads us into the best solution, in my opinion, is obviously just the G League, right?
Yeah. I got one more after this.
You got one more after that? Well, let's hear yours because then we can talk about the G League.
I think the last one really is just pay a guy $100K or like have a guy get one of the agents to give you $100K and just train on your own.
Yeah.
Just, work out. Just be dedicated solely on basketball. Nothing else.
It's an option, but to me, like, I think you could do a lot of stuff in the gym on a tape, but does that correlate to an actual game? I'm not so sure, right?
Yeah.
And getting 10 players around you to play an actual, like, quality game of pickup basketball to film it. It'd be tough.
Or even just going to like the Drew League or just these other leagues where you can play.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's not like the best option. I just think it's one of those options that like if players are just like, I don't want to go to school, I don't want to go to Europe, and the NBA is not paying me that much. Yeah. I just find a agent for the NBA, have him give me $100K. He can finesse a way to get me at least a tryout with the team to show what I can do, and then potentially get drafted.
It's definitely not a bad option, and a lot of these players, like we said, like they'll finish their college basketball season, and that's literally what they do.
Yeah,
is they just go to the gym and work out for a year. So it's not a bad option. I actually think a lot of people do that basically already. That's kind of what going to this college is, right? They're not getting coached, but you're just there to play basketball. You know?
The only thing is you got to go to school. But I mean, like, to be fair, I mean, some of the classes
they don't go to school
that I've seen them take, it's not that hard.
I don't think most.
I was in a couple of their classes, so
really?
Yeah.
I would just assume most of them don't even go. Like they just pay somebody to do their thing, or if they do go, they just like kind of play on their computer or whatever. Yeah,
but I mean that's the thing. Like most of these kids that go there just solely for basketball aren't really focused on school. Like they don't care about school.
Yeah.
And a lot of people try to make the argument, well, you're there for an education. Well, some of these guys don't even want the education. They just want there as a stopping gap to help them develop, if the coach is good enough, to help them develop and not focus on winning. And then, because I mean, there's some kids that I saw went to like a pool class.
Dude, professional pool players.
Shooting pool.
They found their real passion. Well, let's get back into the G League because I think, in my opinion, that's the best option. Just because if the NBA can actually establish with the G League what it wants to, which is basically just a secondary league where it's quality competition and people actually watch it.
Right.
I think it's the best, right? Because then, let's say the New York Knicks, right, just decide, let's bring in 5 high school students. We'll just give them $100,000 each, right? And then they just give them a year in the G League, and if they're decent, they're decent. If not, just let them go. It's always an option, right?
Yeah.
And by putting names like DeAndre Ayton, let's say Colin Sexton, Dennis Smith Jr. if he was still in college, Kyle Kuzma, people are going to go watch the G League games, right? And especially if they do, which I think is a good idea, put those games on Twitch, which I think they've already kind of started. I think they've done it a couple times already. That's the great,
future,
right? I mean, it establishes all those names early, right? And people get to watch them easily and wherever they are. You don't have to pay to watch DeAndre Ayton. You just get to see him play, and then when he finally goes to the NBA, everybody's ready to watch DeAndre Ayton dominate in real basketball. Yeah,
exactly. I think that's probably one of the better options, like you said. It's just the fact that you can have a G League, or even the G League turns into like a club system. You can potentially turn into that. I think it's just a perfect idea because then it's under the NBA's wing. They have all the talent that will come up through the system on their watch. They don't have to go to these scummy gyms with these scummy coaches and, parents that are like, I just want to do this because, my son wants to get paid, or like I want money because of my son. I think you kind of eliminate that. You get the kind of pure essence of just playing basketball for yourself and just playing basketball to develop these kids so that one day they can help you win an NBA championship.